friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ty, and this is Reality Table Talk. I'm here to share my thoughts and opinions on the latest episodes of the reality shows we all love to watch. Now, my thoughts are my thoughts, and the reviews I share are from my perspective. But I can guarantee that at least a few of us are thinking the same things while we're watching these shows. If you're here for the first time, welcome to my channel. If you're a return viewer, thank you so much for joining me again. And y'all, I am back with the new review for part 2 for the 90-day The Hunt for Love, Season 1, Episode 1. I just want to remind you all to please like, share, and subscribe. If you dig this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. It's a free and easy way to support this channel and its growth. And y'all, we're jumping right back into this singles mixer. And now that the masks are removed, all of the 90-day cast members are able to easily spot one another. The women get together and they start conversing. Jennifer can clearly see that her ex Tim is in attendance and tells the other ladies, "Look, he's pretending that he doesn't see us." Then she says Tim looks like he's just got punched in the stomach, okay? Like someone has knocked the wind out of him. One of the non-90-day singles, Carlo, who is 38 from Los Angeles, says that there's a lot of hot women there, but he also realizes some of these people already know each other. He thinks it's from a TV show, but he's not familiar with any of them, so he's trying to figure out what the hell is going on here. Tiffany says she sees cast there from the show and some faces she's familiar with. She's never met Courtney before, but she knows of her. She knows Courtney likes to drink, and she knows Rob is a pretty boy. And then she's like, whoa, is that Soulja Boy? But are any of the women here his type? Because I haven't seen anybody here over the age of 50. Yes, Tiffany for the shade. Miss Shady Boots. Nick, one of the dating coaches, tells everyone now that they're unmasked. Keep chatting, have fun, and we'll see you all in the morning. So the coaches leave and the mingling resumes amongst the singles. Rob says now that Elise's mask is off. And just to remind y'all, I mentioned Elise in part 1 of my review. She's one of the non-90-day singles who is 31 from Miami, Florida. And now that he can see her mask is off, she is beautiful. But he's still very intrigued by this mystery Latina in the red dress, aka Jennifer. He can't believe that she's one of the 90-day people and that she's the hottest woman in the joint. He makes his way over to Jennifer and introduces himself. And he's like, "Hey there, I'm Rob." You know, the Rob. That's not what he said, but he just kind of had that attitude, right? And she's like, "Hi, yes, I'm Jenny." He says, "Wow, this is awkward, isn't it?" You know, he's just up there making small talk. And he really just wanted her to see him. I see him. I see what his game is. He wanted her to see him noticing her. Okay? He wanted her to store his face and his name in her memory bank because baby Rob has plans for Jennifer, whether she knows it yet or not. He hasn't said it yet, but I can tell he's plotting and scheming. Tiffany makes her way over to Tim because they're actually friends in real life, and he's standing there still looking very shooketh, honey, over the fact that his ex Jennifer is standing 15 feet away from him. Tim asks Tiffany for advice on whether or not he should go say something to Jennifer because the last time they spoke, it was bad, y'all. It got very ugly. Tiffany is like, "Yeah, you should just do it. You just have to go over there, jump right in and say something so it doesn't get too uncomfortable." As if it isn't uncomfortable already. Y'all, Tim is the only 90-day single whose ex is on this show. I wonder how Rob would have handled it if Sophie was there. Like, I can guarantee you Rob would be nervous. He would be an anxious wreck, okay? He'd probably be trying to go home. Anywho, Tim asked Tiffany, "Do you know Jennifer?" Tiffany is like, "Well, no, but she seems sweet." And Tim is like, "Yeah, okay, you date her then and then tell me how sweet she is. She's loca." So flashback time. We get a flashback of the 90-day reunion scene where Jennifer was hugged up with her new man, Jesse, of Darcy and Jesse, and Tim, who was sitting next to his ex-wife, Veronica, who truly are just friends, nothing more, nothing less. Jennifer said she and Tim were never intimate, and Tim is throwing around a narrative that he never wanted to sleep with her, but anybody could see that wasn't true. Tim said they attempted to get intimate one night, but he didn't have any protection and all the stores were closed. And Jennifer says, "No, I told you I would never be intimate with you. And you said, okay, well, then let everybody think I'm not attracted to women." And y'all, this did not make any sense to me whatsoever, like none. Jennifer says she wouldn't sleep with Tim, so he said, let them think I'm not attracted to women. Okay, like, nah. And if y'all believe that, then I have some flying pigs I like to sell you because, baby, what? He says, I gave you money, I bought you things, so you shouldn't have one bad thing to say about me. She says, you aren't even worthy of being called a vagina because you're acting like a little witch. And flashback scene over. Back to present day, and Tiffany is saying Jennifer's presence is revving up Tim's anxiety, and they're going to have to date in front of each other. That's not going to go well. I might agree with Tiffany if Tim and Jennifer's relationship were more solid, or if they had even slept together. But at this point, I don't think it's that deep. I think it's just the fact that the arguments are very vicious between them, and Jennifer likes to pop off. Tim is not confrontational at all, and Jennifer is all about the confrontation. So 15 feet away, Jennifer is talking to a non-90-day single named Chris, who is 30 from Phoenix, Arizona. She tells him she's from Colombia, and Chris says, I'm curious about Colombia now because of you. Tim pops up like, hey, what's up? Shocked to see you here. Like, Tim's voice is so monotone sometimes. And Jennifer says she's shocked too. Tim says, I don't want any tension or bad blood between us. Chris is like, should I leave? Like, it's getting awkward. And Jennifer says, no. We tried to date a long time ago. It didn't work out. He was going around saying things about me, so I said some things about him. He didn't like it. That's what happened. So just so that you know the truth, this is how it went down. And Tim is standing there remaining silent, okay, as if he were under arrest, child. Jennifer says she knows Tim's secrets, and if he comes for me at all, I'm going to air all of his dirty laundry out for the world to see. Tim says, listen, I don't want to interrupt, so let's just agree to stay out of each other's way, and we'll be cool. And Jennifer says, yes, thank you. Right, thanks. So Tim goes ahead and he walks away. And Chris was like, I thought you all were about to become friends until I heard that last little sentence. And listen, Jennifer, I know you feel like you're getting the one up on Tim right now, but now all you're really doing is making yourself look crazy in front of another single, someone you could potentially date. And this right here is not the first impression you want to make, baby. Okay. You may be gorgeous and all, but this right here is not a good look. It's giving petty. Okay. It's giving holding grudges. Most importantly, it's giving Chris his future if he decides to pursue you. Okay. This is a glimpse into a crystal ball right here. Tim goes to sit next to Chantel, who asks, what happened? And Tim says, oh, that's my ex. And Chantel is like, hold up. Why did y'all break up? And Tim says, well, she's a gold digger. Chantel then makes it about her and Pedro. Okay, any opportunity she has to make things about she and Pedro, she's going to do that. And she says, I can't stand gold diggers who are taking advantage of the system and are only here for a green card. Sis, Jennifer is not Pedro, and you're starting to sound like your mama. And girl, I'm not saying that to you as a compliment. Y'all, if you haven't seen Chantel's mama in action, go back and check out her season. Chantel may want to back that up and reevaluate how she's moving here if she truly wants to meet someone, and I'm going to just leave it at that. So Tim says, I don't know if she's here for a green card, but she's definitely loved when I bought her things. He asked Chantel if she and Pedro are done, and if she really thought that he was her soulmate. And she says, I haven't spoken to Pedro since we last filmed, and I don't know where he is. And yes, I did think he was my soulmate. I was young, I was only 25. Oh, Chantel. Yeah, I will admit that Pedro did you dirty. Okay, he did you real dirty. Between your family and his family, it was just all bad. I know he broke your heart, and I truly hope you are in therapy and speaking with someone about that whole ordeal. I know you want love, and I'd hate for your experience with Pedro and the remnants of that to hold you back from truly opening yourself up to love again. We can go through the motions physically, but mentally, it's a completely different thing. So, meanwhile, Usman sits down next to Courtney and asks if she's mad at him. And she says, "You just pretended you didn't know me." And he says, "I was joking, and I didn't mean it like that." He says in Istanbul, they had dinner, they went back to his hotel, got so drunk, as if that's an excuse. It seems like he was trying to make it an excuse here, but he says they got so drunk, and they had a good time. He appreciated every minute with Courtney, and she's beautiful, but they're both there to date other people and see what happens. Now, y'all, Tim truly is the only person whose ex is there. However, Usman and Courtney hooked up before, and there was no real closure because Usman ghosted her. So I can tell Courtney still has some residual feelings for Usman, and watching him date other people may not sit quite right with her. We'll see. We'll see how that goes down. Usman's attitude is giving, he's there for a good time, honey, not a long time. Usman tells Courtney, "I can never forget knowing you." So he's being sweet to Courtney, but I can tell this is getting Courtney's hopes up. She says he's attractive, he has all of the things, and he's being flirty. But she needs to proceed with caution because he could be playing her. Courtney, yes, doll, proceed with caution, but also do not put Usman at the top of your list of guys that you want to date there. Just go with the flow, honey, and see what happens. Do not set yourself up here, girl. Just have fun. Courtney says she tends to go to liars and manipulators. And I'm so glad the dating coaches are there to help Courtney out here because y'all, yes, yes, y'all, she absolutely needs them. Courtney asks Usman if he likes anybody at the resort so far. He says, "All of you ladies are so beautiful, so I'll just have to fill things out." And Courtney says, "Yes, there are a lot of beautiful people here and hot guys." And Usman is like, "Well, who do you like?" And she says, "You tell me who you like first." And he says, "Well, I like you first." You know I like you. And she says, "Well, you pretended you didn't know me, so you know what? You're going to make up for that." Listen, Usman is definitely giving mixed signals here, and my prediction for these two is that it's going to end badly. Chantel is ear hustling this entire conversation between Usman and Courtney. Chantel and Courtney are actually friends in real life, and Chantel is fully in her mama bag here, okay? She's telling us that Courtney spoke to her while she was with Usman in Turkey, and she told Courtney to be careful because she's read several bad things about Usman online. Usman is flirting with Courtney, and Chantel does not like it one bit. Across the way, Tim is chatting it up with a non-90-day single, P-Stash, aka Rocky, who is 36 from Newport Beach, California, and asking him who he's interested in and who he'd want to date first. So Rocky looks right at Tiffany and says, "I'd like to date you. Can I take you out?" And Tiffany says, "Absolutely. I'd said the same about you." And Rocky is thrown off because the 90-day singles all know each other and he doesn't have a clue who any of them are. But he knows he likes him some Tiffany, y'all. He says she's sweeter than honey and she's beautiful inside and out. Oh, Rocky. I wish I can get a man to say some sweet things like that about me to me. Rob is lying back, lounging back on some pillows with Elise, who's lounging back right beside him. And Elise says she's known as the wild, fun party girl. And if she wants something, she's going to go get it. And right now, she's got her sights set on Mr. Rob. She was infatuated with his eyes and, dare I say it, swag. Y'all, we have got to get rid of this word swag in 2025, okay? It's about progression. Can we progress here? So, anywho, they're all laid up playing the will we kiss, won't we kiss game. And he doesn't want to go in and do too much too fast because Elise is with the ish, okay? She tells Rob, I have a big butt for a white girl. Rob is like, well, let me see. And she says, no kiss, no butt, okay? If we can't kiss, I'm not showing you my rump shaker. He says, okay, bet, let's kiss. She says, well, what do you want to do first? And he says, give me the kiss first. And y'all, they go into a full make out session right here on this spot, okay? Right here on this beach. Tongue swapping, saliva swapping, all of that. Everyone is looking like, whoa. And Courtney says, we're like an hour into this retreat. That was quick. So after they make out, Elise pulls up her sarong to show him her little butt. And Big, well, I guess big is subjective, but I'm going to venture to say it was a little on the pancake-ish side, y'all. Not that the camera showed it at all, but judging from what we see through that sarong, and baby, it wasn't much. I'm just going to go out there and on a ledge and say, pancake booties matter too, y'all. They matter, I guess. So Rob says, yeah, that's a nice butt. I like them cheeks. And she's like, it's big, right? Moving on. Jennifer is making friends with a non-90 day single by the name of Cole. And Cole is 28 from Dana Point, California. She says he is just her type. He has Latin features, which she's digging. And she thought Pretty Boy Rob was hot, but now that he's already making out with Elise an hour into the singles mixer, she has the impression that Rob is an F-boy. So on to Cole, or Cole, as she calls him, it is. Cole thinks Jennifer is beautiful, elegant, poised, and he loves her facial features. He's there to find love, and he's going all in for Jennifer, baby. Chantel is sitting there on the couch next to Usman and non-90 day single Carlo, who asks if she was surprised to see who all was there. And she says she was super surprised to see Colt. Then Usman asks her if she was surprised to see him. And she skates right on past that little question real quick with an uh-huh. And yeah, I was surprised to see Tim. And Usman says, but were you surprised to see me? She says, well, I've never met you. And he says, you don't know me? And she says, I don't know you. Who are you? So he starts naming his ex, Kimberly. And he says, you don't know Kimberly? You don't know Kimberly? You don't know Jamal, Kimberly's son? So she says, oh, yeah. Well, I've seen some things on social media about you, but I've never met you in person. And he says, okay, yeah, cool. That's fine. You don't know me. I've never met you in person, but I know you. And Carlo wants to get the hell out of Dodge. So he excuses himself real quick, fast, in a hurry. So Chantel and Usman can continue arguing about who knows each other and who doesn't know one another. Okay. So Carlo says, I'm out of this 90-day world and I'm getting up out of this argument as well. Colt and Courtney are sitting next to the argument now. So Colt is like, what's going on? Chantel tells Usman, I told you I don't know someone until I've met them in person, and I've never met you in real life. She's going on, and Usman is like, listen, we just don't even need to talk. And Usman says he knows Chantel knows him because they have mutual friends, and he knows she's been talking ish about him. And I'm sure he's referring to Courtney here as the mutual friend and the person Chantel has been talking about him too. But she doesn't know that he knows this. So now her defenses are up and he's like, why? Nothing violent is happening. Why are you defensive? Now, Chantel says it's all over the blogs that Usman is a scammer who just wants a green card. And Pedro has gotten Chantel's mind all mixed up because now she's projecting her situation with Pedro onto every other damn person here. Chantel, I'm gonna need you to take a shot and chill out, or go on back to your casita and get some rest, girl. Everybody is now looking for a green card, okay? Chantel says Courtney is her friend, and Courtney is naive when it comes to dating. And if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a Pedro, pretty much. So the tension is thick between Chantel and Usman. Rob walks Elise back to her casita, and he says, well, they're whispering, and he whispers, I'm going to drop you off, and then you find me and text me. Are they trying to link up in secret, like away from the cameras? I'm wondering, why are they whispering? So they get to Elise's door, they kiss, and she goes inside, and they say goodnight. And Rob feels like the night has been a success. He's felt desired, wanted, and he hasn't felt like that in a long time in his relationship with Sophie. And he and Elise have talked about going on a date. He doesn't want to overthink things, but he's just going to go with it and see what happens. So Colt, Chantel, Courtney, and Tiffany, they all go back to Tiffany's casita. Usman and Tim show up a few minutes later, and Tiffany invited all of them back to her room so she can get the skinny on the drama between Chantel and Usman and Tim and Jennifer. So Tim says he spent so much money on Jennifer, she used them, but he doesn't want to get into it because he doesn't want Jennifer's presence to ruin his time at the resort. He changes the focus to Colt. Colt was chit-chatting at the mixer with a non-90-day single named May, and he loves everything about her so far, except the fact that she's vegan. He believes cooking is an intimate thing, and if they can't find something to cook and eat together, that may be an issue. So Tim says, well, there's other things, like she could be a nympho like you, Colt. Colt says he just has a high libido. He can get it in like 7 times a day on a good day. And Courtney is like, with who? Himself and his computer? And Tim is like, if he's getting it in 7 times a day, he should be in better shape. Colt is like, my libido is better than Tim's by a country mile. And listen, if we asked Jennifer about Tim, she'd probably say the same thing that Colt is saying right here. Tiffany says, well, I like P-Stash, aka Rocky. Colt, you like May. Tim needs more time, and Usman thinks everyone is beautiful. Usman mentioned to Tim that he thought Chantel was pretty and tells everyone he was surprised that they had that little back and forth because initially he felt good energy from her. But for her to say she didn't recognize him threw him off. She says, well, I didn't recognize you and you were aggressive. He doesn't understand this because his body language was calm and relaxed, but Usman feels Chantel has already judged him and made assumptions about him. Courtney lays it all out there, honey. She's like, Chantel, remember when I said I was in Istanbul and you told me Usman was a scammer? So Usman is butthurt about that. Chantel is like, I have every right to believe he's a scammer. He wanted Kimberly for the green card. At the mixer, he told Courtney that she was his number one choice, and he's telling Tim he thinks Chantel is beautiful. She does not trust this man, and Courtney needs some BS repellent. Tiffany asked Chantel if she called him a scammer for real. She says she saw things on the internet. And Usman says people make that assumption because he's African, but they need to talk to him, listen to what he says, and not believe what's on the internet. Tiffany is like, okay, listen, let's talk about this when we're not all tired. So with that said, y'all, she tells everyone to go on so she can go to sleep. Colt says Usman's track record with older white ladies who buy him PlayStations is probably the reason folks think he's a scammer, not because he's from Africa. So we see everyone get into bed. Colt was naked, even though it was blurred out. That's a vision I never want to see again in my life, child. Not ever, blurred or not. So it's the next day, and Jennifer meets Johanna, who says that every day the singles will have the option to participate in speed dating with a twist or taking a flirting lesson, which will take place a little bit later. Jennifer asks, well, which did Tim choose? He hasn't signed up for either yet. So Jennifer is leaning towards the speed dating, but she's like, what's the twist? And Johanna says, Well, I can't say yet, but bring a bathing suit. Rob and Usman are eating breakfast, and Usman says, I saw you with that lady all night. What happened? You can tell me. And Rob is like, it was just a kiss, nothing more. And Jennifer walks over and sits down at Rob and Usman's table and says, she chose speed dating today. And Rob says he did too. Usman then tells Jennifer what Tim was saying about her in Tiffany's room the night before. Jennifer says, he bought me gifts, yes, but he wasn't supporting me or my family. He's been saying I'm a gold digger, but we broke up 6 years ago, so why is my name still in his mouth? Usman is like, did you two ever sleep together? And she says, no. And Rob is like, well, why? So this gives Jennifer the green light to give the fellas the tea, the real tea. And the real tea is that Tim took Jennifer to a male strip club and he paid a stripper to give her a lap dance while he watched and he got turned on. So Rob is like, what? Then Jennifer says when Tim was with his other exes, they would go to swingers clubs. So now Rob is like, wow, that's interesting. Rob never watched Tim and Jennifer's season, so he doesn't really know their story, but it's sounding like a little like Gino and Jasmine-ish to him. Rob says he's not going to judge Tim, but he cannot watch his woman get a lap dance, and he's confused as to how Tim even managed to land a woman like Jennifer in the first place, and how he was able to be around her and not want to sleep with her, because Rob wouldn't be able to keep his hands off of Jennifer. So after this little tea is spilled, she leaves to go get changed for speed dating, and Rob and Usman are like, this woman is hot. So later on, all of the male singles get on one Sprinter van and all the females get on another. All of the men are talking it up about how hot they think Jennifer is, y'all. Jennifer is the subject of today. And the women are chatting about Rob. Elise feels Rob would be easy to talk to, but Elise, if Jennifer gives Rob a chance, he's going to drop you like a hot potato. Point blank, period. Apparently, Elise has told all of these men that she likes to get backdoored. Girl, what in the hell? This is not doing much for your party girl image that you're trying to shed. Elise must also just be there for a good time and a long time like Usman. Because, girl, if this is what you lead with when you're looking for love, I'm thinking chances are you're gonna be welcomed with a lot of lust and not much love at all. Like, this is crazy as hell. Tim feels Elise is like a bro, like, hey, bruh. See what I'm saying? Like, he's already friend zoned her. And Rob is kind of regretting what he did by kissing this lady now. He's like, she's kind of forward, huh? All of the singles arrive for the activities they've signed up for. And dating coach Nick tells us that the speed dating with a twist entails the singles getting to know each other while chilling in the hot tub. The ladies will be in their own hot tub and the men will rotate around to them. Each date will last 2 minutes, and once the dates are up, the singles will rate the date, and at the end of the event, the scores will be tallied. Guess what, y'all? Tim has also signed up for the speed dating, and he's hating the fact that Jennifer is also there. Now, there are only 3 hot tubs, so Nick tells us the first 3 ladies that the men will be dating are Chantel and non-90-day singles, May and Nikki. The first 3 fellas that will be joining them in the hot tubs are Rob and non-90-day singles, Edwin and Chris. Everyone else is going to chill and have drinks on the beach until they're called to take their turns. Chantel and Chris, May and Rob, and Nikki and Edwin are all paired up first, and they're all handed a drink to help them loosen up a little bit before the dating begins. Chantel's strategy is to show a little cleavage to help her attract the man. And the 2 minutes start. So May asks Rob if he believes in polygamy, and he's like, hell no, it's hard enough to keep up with one woman and make one woman happy. Chris asks Chantel what her core values are. Chantel says she wants an open-minded man because she is very open-minded nowadays. Nikki and Edwin are talking about how big the cherries are in their drinks, child. They don't know what to talk about. Rob asks May how long she's been single. She says 4 years because she's pretty picky. Now, y'all may think 4 years is a long time to be single, but y'all, I have may easily beat out in this category, okay? I'm not going to say how long I've been single, but it's been longer than 4 years. Down on the beach, the other singles toast to finding love, and Elise asked non 90-day single Joe, who was 25 from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, who he was digging at the mixer. He says he was just there catching a vibe, and then he asked Elise who she was into. And P Stash, aka Rocky, says, well, Rob apparently. She says Rob is not usually her type at all, and she realizes she presents a very crazy, wild persona, but behind closed doors, she's very insecure and she's afraid of getting hurt. Honey, I can tell you're insecure by the way that you lead with conversation. When you lead a conversation talking about intimacy and what you've done in the bedroom, it's like you're presenting that to the fellas instead of presenting yourself, your character, and your actual personality. That to me screams insecurity. It's like you're not secure with yourself to believe you can lead with your personality instead of what's in your pants or your bikini. Mm? So Tim asks, how long was your longest lasting relationship? And she says she's been proposed to 5 times and engaged 3 times, but she never says how long her longest lasting relationship was. So everybody is like, wow. And Jennifer says Elise doesn't look like an insecure person because she's super hot, but that has not a damn thing to do with someone's insecurities, Jennifer. That's a mental thing. It's about how someone views and feels about themselves, not necessarily the aesthetics, Jen baby, okay? So Jen says Elise was kissing Rob all up on the beach the night before. So if you want to be a slut, be one and enjoy it. Back in the hot tubs, Chris asked Chantel what her ex would say about her. And honestly, who in the hell cares what Pedro has to say about Chantel? But Chantel says, well, he'd probably ask, where's my money? And Chris is like, what do you mean? And she says, well, I took my money out of our shared account and he was all up in arms about it. So Chris is like, well, was it your money? Like what you took out of the account, it was your money, right? And Chantel says, yeah, and I feel like he still owes me money. So here you are, Chantel, presenting all of your past drama and traumas to this new guy who doesn't know you from Adam. And this is why you need these dating coaches, girl. Okay? Girl, good night with all of this BS that you're doing right now. So the first 2-minute dates are over, and Chris says, well, cheers to being done. Then as he was getting up out of the hot tub, he says, man, that was a long 2 minutes. Down on the beach, the singles are grilling Tim and Jennifer about their dating past. And Tim says, listen, we didn't know that each other were going to be here. She didn't know I was going to be here. I didn't know she was going to be here. And Jennifer says, yeah, we haven't spoken in 6 years. And he said a lot of mean things about me, but I've put him in his place. And so Tim just sits there and he sips on his drink, child. He is not trying to say a word. He really isn't trying to get into it with Jennifer at all. Joe asks if there's any chance Tim and Jennifer could reconnect. And Jennifer says, absolutely not. We won't even be friends. Again, Tim just sips on his drink and doesn't say a word. Now, Tim doesn't want to get into it with Jennifer, but believes Jennifer is sabotaging his chances with the other ladies there by peddling around her narrative of what happened between them. Courtney is in her casita getting ready to go to the flirting class. She thinks Usman is maybe just being flirty with her, but he has his eyes on every woman there and wants to keep his options open. And ding, 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 ding. Yes, Courtney, you hit the nail on the head. That is exactly what's going on here with Usman. So just roll with that. Go with your intuition on that, okay? And act accordingly. Let him do him and you do you. Cole is in his casita looking like a hot, sweaty mess. So Rob's second speed date is with Nikki. Chantel's is with Edwin. And she says, wow, you have such a fit body. And Edwin is kind of fine, y'all. He's kind of fine. He's tall. He's muscled up. He's got his cornrows braided back. And he's tatted up all over his upper body. Chantel says she's too scary to get a tattoo. Meanwhile, Nikki is concerned about an ant that's drowning in the hot tub with she and Rob. She's up here trying to save this ant's life, y'all. Okay, she's grabbing the ant with her palm. Rob tried to flick it out of her hand, and she's like, "No." Rob is like, "You must watch your every step when you walk," and she says, "I do." She's not trying to step on any ants, any spiders, any beetles, any roly-polies, okay? Nikki is a lover of all of the animals, y'all, even the insects. Chantel asked Edwin if he's been married before because she spotted a tattoo around his ring finger, and he says yes. Then the convo just kind of goes flat from there. And Chantel says Edwin is like a brick wall, but she admittedly says that she has zero dating skills right now. She is so nervous in this hot tub, y'all. Okay. She is a nervous wreck. She's up here fidgeting around. She's looking around. She's damn near trying to flag one of the dating coaches down. This water is like 2 feet deep, y'all. And she is drowning in this hot tub on this date. Hell, the date is drowning. So Chantel says that her lack of dating skills is only one of the reasons she's so nervous. She tells us that right before this trip, she and her friend Ashley were hanging out, drinking wine one night, and Ashley admitted to Chantel that she had romantic feelings for her. So one thing led to another, and they kissed. Chantel has never dated or even kissed another woman, and she was shocked. But she was shocked at the fact that she actually liked the kiss. So now she's confused about her dating life and her sexuality. And she's trying to determine if she's switching teams or playing for both sides at this point. And baby, that's the end of episode 1. Y'all, between the ass showing by Elise and the making out with Rob, the exes that can't stand each other with Tim and Jennifer, Colt and his sweaty body, and Rob and Jennifer's secret crushes on each other. Y'all, this 90-day spinoff is about to be wild. I can already tell this thing with Elise and Rob isn't going to go far at all, and that Courtney is about to get hurt again by Usman. And I have a feeling, like an intuition, that Chantel is going to be leaving this resort alone. But y'all, comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this series so far, okay? And tell me which singles you believe are going to leave with someone, or if they're going to be leaving there alone. Thank you all so much for watching part 2 of this 90-day The Hunt for Love episode 1 review. And make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you'll know when my review for episode 2 drops. Until next time, y'all, stay safe, stay blessed, and don't forget to tell someone that you love them today. Love y'all. Peace.